I hear it's popular to dunk on season 2 of Legends of Korra. I didn't enjoy it so much either, but upon rewatching it, it actually goes kind of hard. It could just be that with the amount of divisiveness in politics nowadays, character like Unalaq feel real and that makes it kind of scary. It's a pretty common consensus that Legends of Korra season 2 ignored all of Korra's character development in season 1, which made it a very lackluster season. Not only that, the boss fight was kind of weird. There was too much time spent in the spirit realm, and Unalaq was just some egotistical evil dude instead of a revolutionist con man, a terrorist, nor Adolf Jr., which are all more interesting because they're doing bad stuff for more than just themselves. Unalaq thinks he's the bee's knees, which means he's better than everyone around him, and because he's better than everybody else, he should just get to do whatever he wants. This is what makes him a villain, and while it's really basic, I actually think it was done surprisingly well. But before we get into that, I feel like it's a good idea to compare Unalaq to the other villains a little bit more because he happened to be placed into one of the best series of all time, and it's hard to compete against greatness. Unalaq was given a short stick by virtue of the show he appeared in. Season 1 took a lot of events from the civil rights movement and expanded upon them, giving it a very serious vibe that also reflects history. The same goes for Season 3 with Zahir. The dude is a political extremist who was so good at airbending that the world was forced to listen to his philosophy. That philosophy was, the world would be a better place if there wasn't some teenage godhood running around and meddling with all the nation's affairs. He was literally just an anarchists. There's very few pure anarchists throughout fiction because, by his own logic, he's trying to make the world as it should be by disposing of the biggest foe, blocking the world's powers from enacting their free will. Kuvira was the opposite of that, which massively contrasts the difference between authoritarianism and anarchy. Unalaq doesn't really have a greater purpose to his existence other than recycling Scar from The Lion King. I heard some people make the same joke about that in the Black Panther movie, but as somebody who watched the Black Panther movie recently, I had a good time, and I don't feel that reusing ideas is like a bad thing because there's no way you could create the exact flavor twice. That's why nobody likes copycats. The imitation usually cannot encapsulate the original and becomes its own version. I feel like that's sort of the case with Unalaq. He's a double-crossing, witty evildoer who has slightly more morals than Scar and spends much more time with Korra than Scar did with Simba. Much like how too much or too little egg can turn your Dutch babies into pancakes, Unalaq is removed from the villain he shares similarities to. Also, I know everybody dunks on season 2, but I had a fun time writing this, even though I didn't like the spirit world portions, but maybe subscribe, especially if I change your mind about season 2. Back to Unalaq, a brief rundown to catch everybody up. Unalaq is the Northern Water Tribe chieftain, brother to Tonraq, who is Avatar Korra's father. Growing up, Tonraq was going to be the Northern Water Tribe chief, but Unalaq was jealous, so he staged a spirit attack on the tribe. Unalaq convinced Chief Daddy that it was Tonraq who pissed off the spirit, so, as punishment for jeopardizing their people, Tonraq was banished and left to the Southern Tribe. Since Tonraq had already developed so many leadership skills, he very quickly rose to the ranks and became the leader of the Southern Tribe. During a spirit festival, Unalaq pays the Southern Tribe a visit and decides to militarily occupy the tribe. He does this with the defense of he needs to militarize the South so he can protect the spirit portal of the South, but as it turns out, that was just what he needed to say to convince people he has no ill intent occupying their territory. The Southern Tribe gets mad that Unalaq's military is pushing them around and showing a general lack of respect, so a group of Southerners try to assassinate Unalaq in the middle of the night. Unalaq uses this to pay off a judge to convince Tonraq as the lead conspirator. Unalaq now has control over both water tribes and begins his plan to enact harmonic convergence, imbuing himself with the powers of the Dark Avatar, enabling him to destroy the barriers between the spirit realm and the physical realm. The most interesting aspect about this storyline is the dude is convinced everything he's doing is right, but plotting a global do-over with the entity of pure evil should have tipped Unalaq off that what he was doing was probably a little bit incorrect. It's not every day somebody eats an evil wind chime. Anyways, what made this a bad ending was, it was never made clear why Unalaq wanted to destroy the barriers between the physical and spirit realm, just that it was the thing he wanted to do, and there are no lines he won't cross to achieve it. I think he's a garden variety psycho with grandeur ideas of enlightenment, and that makes him think spirits are superior beings, and by fusing with Vaatu, I guess he could live out his spirit fantasy. I'm pretty sure if Kiora invented the internet, introducing Unalaq to Reddit could have prevented this whole mess. His character arc was, I am evil, spooky spooky, I do evil, I summon demon, I become demon, I grow plants on Yo City, and blow up magical girl, which is kind of funny and definitely not as cool as the other Legend of Korra villains, but what he really did was provide Korra with a huge mental journey about what right and wrong really mean, giving her the opportunity to think for herself, and giving her permission to give Tenzin and her dad the middle finger for treating her like a child. Korra was still a little baby girl that nobody took seriously by the end of season 1, which is why it was all character development. In season 2, she had the opportunity to grow into adulthood, preparing her for the more traumatizing aspects of season 3. Unalaq, while not a great character on his own, was probably the best stepping stone to grow Korra as a character, much more than anybody else in the series, that is. That's something that Unalaq has over Amon, Zahir, and Kubira. Unalaq was the best mentor Korra ever had, despite being, evil. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if I help you appreciate Unalaq more. Let me know if you want me to discuss Amon or Zahir, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.